In an age of skyrocketing divorce rates, is it really possible to make love last? Welcome to the Falling in Love Forever show with Doctors Barbara and Michael Grossman, the well-known relationship experts and best-selling authors of The Marriage Map book. Each week, they share the latest information to help you enjoy your romantic partnerships so you can fall in love forever. Here are your hosts, Doctors Barbara and Michael Grossman.
Hello, I'm Dr. Michael Grossman,
I'm Dr. Barbara Grossman.
and we are here to talk about how we can create boundaries in our life that are supportive for all kinds of good things happening. My specialty, so that you know, is that I am an anti-aging physician. I specialize in keeping people youthful, making you look and feel young and vital. And I support you in so many different ways, and there's so much information in medicine now about how to stay youthful and how to stay healthy. And my wife, Dr. Barbara.
I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist for 35 years, and I work with individuals and couples, and my purpose is to grow people as individuals and in their relationships.
And we work together because so much of being youthful involves how you create relationships in your life. And the most important factor in longevity after the age of 50 is the quality of your personal relationships. So as an anti-aging doctor, I can't ignore that. Yes, there's a lot of things to do about hormones, about eating healthy and taking different nutrients and doing different things and exercise, but you can't ignore the quality of your personal relationships. And that's what we're going to focus on today in terms of keeping you healthy. And so let me turn it over first to Dr. Barbara.
Okay, so I want to be provocative and start the conversation by mentioning to you that the most stable geometric form in the universe is a triangle. How do I know that? I know that because Buckminster Fuller said so. And how that relates to our life and relationship is that a relationship of one man and a relationship of two people, and I'll talk about one man and one woman because that's my focus for today, but it applies to any relationship, any romantic relationship. The essential relationship of two people together is basically unstable. Two people in relationship is not stable because you're constantly growing and changing over life, a lifespan, and also because the time in which you got to know each other and fell in love with each other is a different kind of relationship than the relationship you have when you commit and form a life together. There's so many changes. You have to learn how to manage money together. You make decisions about where to live. You grow in your competence in your work. You have a family and you have to manage your children and learn how to parent together. You have to form relationships with your respective families that are more adult. There's so many ongoing changes in life. And what happens is, and what's important about it, a relationship that's a partnership, is that each of you have different assets and different areas in which to grow. And over time, you need to be able to share with your partner what you need from them or what you see that will help them grow. And you need to be able to hear what you need to improve yourself. Those are hard conversations, especially if you don't know how to share them in a way that is respectful. Most of us, what we do is we either are afraid to share those things, and so we wait until we have a mountain of resentments, and then we're exploding in anger, or we want to protect our partner's feelings, and we avoid talking about things completely, and voila, years into the relationship, we have a boyfriend or a girlfriend because it's easier to talk to them. In general, what people do is they manage their frustration in their relationship by talking to a coworker or a same-sex friend or possibly a parent, or there's a way in which they invite a third person into the marriage, and it's a way of releasing stress. you report your concerns and your frustration. You feel good for the moment. Nothing, of course, changes because you haven't talked to the person who can change it, which is your partner. And this can maintain a certain stability in your relationship for a long time, which comes back to the idea of triangles. It's very natural for people to pull in a third party to manage the distress in the relationship. It might not even be a third party. That's a person. It could be, you choose to have 5 drinks every night, 5 beers. That's a way of calming your frustration down. There's all different ways of triangling, which is stabilizing a system, but it really prevents the system from growing. And in fact, it actually creates your partnership, your marriage going stale, because you're not going with the flow of evolution in your lives together. And in truth, there is a special skill set to share that information. And I want you to know that we all need to hear that. We all have places to grow. I mean, I think over time I've heard things from Michael like, I'm an only child. So Michael has told me I'm not a team player. I never taught my kids to cook. I don't include people. I just do it all myself. It's no fun, and it excludes people. That's one piece of feedback I got that's very helpful and true about me. I've heard feedback like I'm really abrupt and harsh, and I need to soften up. And that's also true about me. And that was very, very helpful. I've heard feedback from Michael about how, sexually I'm kind of vanilla and I need to expand my repertoire. Now that's pretty sensitive, but gotta hear it, or else there's no room to move and grow. You need to see yourself the way you're seen by your partner. And if you learn to share and ask for, what will improve the relationship, that allows your relationship to hum along and expand and grow with time and grow with your desires and interests and your talents. And it makes your relationship constantly expanding and fun and delicious to live in. And I want that for you. And we teach a class called Falling in Love Forever, where we teach you how to share that information and at the same time be respectful and be able to hear it and use it. And you'll hear more about that later.
So what Dr. Barbara is discussing is you can triangle with your partner. And instead of having an intimate, direct relationship, which is kind of intense, one-on-one, you bring a third party in, and that kind of makes things more stable. You don't have to be so intense. That third party could be a hobby, could be a parent, it could be another person at work, a buddy, a opposite sex buddy, where you're just being friends. And that relieves the tension that you feel with your partner. But what it does is that it stops the relationship from growing with your romantic partner. If you just have your romantic partner and that's your primary person, you want to be able to share with them, and you have to learn skills that allow you to share without getting arguments, without having fights. Fights are not productive. But having intense discussions about things and understanding that how your partner is different than you is very productive. I have to learn to accept Barbara, who's so different than I am. She describes some of the ways that she's different. She's extremely neat. She wants things very neat. If things aren't neat, her body is uncomfortable. I'm not so neat. I'm okay with a little sloppiness, but it makes her happy. So that's okay. So I cooperate with that. But it's just, that's the way she is. I have to accept that about her. It's not going to change. But I make requests of her about that, and she makes requests of me about that, and then we have to kind of find ways to modify it. I like things orderly in my own way, and I have structure of how I want things to be ordered in my own personal life. Barbara's not that kind of ordered person, but she cooperates with what I like. I like to meditate. every day. I meditate every day. And Barbara, it allows me to have that time to meditate. She doesn't have that in her program, but we need to create that ability to come together. So in our personal lives, I used to play baseball, softball every Sunday for whatever, 3-4 hours. And Barbara asked me when I retired from the team, maybe we can do more ballroom dancing together. And I said, we can do that, but I like competition. She was just, we were just doing dancing for fun, just for relaxation. I said, let's do it and let's be competitive. Let's learn how to dance and do competitions. And she said, well, okay. So for me, it satisfied my needs to be competitive. And we learn a structure of how to dance, ballroom dancing. It's very, very intense. And Barbara cooperates with that. It's not her thing to do, but she loves to dance and we do it together. And so we have this great time. And now she loves to do the competitive dancing, but it's real intense. This presses each of us to grow. When you're in that relationship, it's one-on-one, you press them to grow, they press you to grow. And there's all kinds of ways that you press each other to grow. It's a natural part of life. Whoever you are when you're 20 is different than when you're 35, is different than when you're 50. And you press each other to constantly grow. Over the years, there's more different ways you want to grow. You want to say something?
Yeah, so I'm not saying that you can't talk to other people when you want to sort yourself out, but you want to be really careful who you talk to. It's probably okay to talk. It's certainly okay to talk to a therapist who has a relationship point of view. It's okay to talk to a clergy person. It's okay to talk to a friend who loves you and your partner, who is committed to you being happily married, so that the conversation really is sorting yourself out and not agreeing with you against your partner. If you have a friend like that, that's okay to use to think through what you need to say to your partner. It needs to result in you talking directly to your partner about what you feel, what you think, and what you want. And that moves the relationship forward. And it's good to sort yourself out if you're angry and disorganized about it, because you want to present yourself calmly and respectfully. And we're happy to help you learn how to do that, by the way, because it's important for you to be sharing. It's a sense, there is a way in which that's what it's about, is telling the truth. You're sharing your truth, and you're thinking about what you're going to say in a way that really moves your relationship forward. And that's a skill that takes practice, and it's essential for your relationship to thrive. And we want that for you.
And we want you to be aware that boundaries are a very important part of a romantic relationship over a lifetime. So what Barbara would ask me when I was in my 30s, she'd ask me not to go out for a lunch meeting with a female doctor, one-on-one. I said, why? I mean, they're a doctor, and we're trying to talk business. And she said, yeah, but I'm not comfortable with that. So for her, she didn't like that one-on-one thing with a female doctor that I'm going out to lunch. And okay, I can respect, it didn't show up to me as a significant event, but it did to Barbara. So that's a boundary. And each of us have certain things that we're sensitive about, and we want to create those boundaries that work for the partnership. And it may seem a little bit peculiar, but it's okay. And we want you to have boundaries in your relationship. So we have this metaphor of ballroom dancing. If you've seen ballroom dancing where you're in hold, it's called the international style. So the man and the woman are in hold, and they're holding each other, and it's very, very close. You have your arm around them on each side, and nobody else can get in. And one side is very close to the other, but the other side is free. And so there's movement, but you're feeling very close to them. And there's a lot of movement that you're doing, but there's also a lot of boundaries.
And a lot of space.
A lot of space, but there's space on one side and closeness on the other side. And so that's a metaphor for what we want in your romantic relationships. We want you to feel close, but we want you to have some space there too. And both the things are necessary. You need some space, you need some closeness. And it takes time to work that out. And whatever you work out when you're 20 is going to be different than when you're 35, is different when you're 50.
The metaphor for space has to do with a space for your individual life, where you develop your talents, you grow in competence, you build your skills, you expand, what you can do in the world, and fulfill your meaning in life, which is your life's journey. You're both developing that as an individual, and then the connection with your partner means you're also connected, and you weave your life together, but you have the space to grow as individuals.
And so we want to encourage you to go to our website, themarriagemap.com, and look at the different things that we offer there. We have a lot of different classes and courses where you learn skills that will allow you to create a romantic relationship that lasts for a lifetime and feels more and more joyful, romantic, passionate. It just builds and builds over a lifetime. So we encourage you to go and look at those things. We've written a book called The Marriage Map, The Road to Transforming Your Marriage from Ordeal to Adventure. And that gives you a big picture of what are the changes that happen over a lifetime. And it gives you a big picture of how it feels and how it looks. And so we encourage you to look at that, because that's a very important perspective.
Yes, and we weave in the skills you need at the different levels in order to keep your relationship evolving and expanding in joy and pleasure.
So we invite you to come back and watch us again on our little weekend show. And so we wish you a lovely romantic relationship, and come and join us again. Thanks so much.
Bye. Bye for now.
Thank you for watching the Falling in Love Forever show with Doctors Barbara and Michael Grossman. Join us next week for another informative discussion to help you keep your love alive. Be sure to visit us at themarriagemap.com or find out about our relationship classes at fallinginloveforever.com.